My God.
Homeless guy stumbled across this. He was screaming at the top of his lungs when we found him.
Poor soul. What the hell is happening in my city?
Officer Jack Shaw, I'm here to take a blood sample from the victim.
Of course. Go ahead. Wait a minute. I'm gonna have to see your ID before I let you take that, Mr. Shaw. Damn you, Batman.
I've brought you a meal, sir. Oh, you're looking at that horrible murder at the docks. How are you supposed to eat this delicious meal that I prepared for you while you look at that?
I'm not hungry, Alfred.
If only I could count the amount of times that you've said that since you've been back.
The body of Liam Distal was discovered yesterday, stuffed into a barrel of metal hydroxide which dissolved his remains. That means there's no way to tell when he was killed or placed there. Definitely done on purpose. It could have happened years ago, months ago, weeks ago, or just days ago. We can't be sure. I took a blood sample from Distal last night, and I managed to isolate a formula that had been injected into his bloodstream. The biochemistry is more advanced than anything I've encountered before. I ran the formula through several databases to see who might have developed it.
And?
We did. It was us, Alfred. Wayne Enterprises. Wayne Enterprises holds the thing closest to the formula. It was developed by one Dr. Carl Helfern. I tried to find all the information about him that I could, but all records of him have been erased. But you can start to see a motive there if you squint long enough. Liam Distal was a Wayne Enterprises scientist. A former Wayne Enterprises scientist killing current Wayne Enterprises scientists. Carl Helfern could be the man behind all of this.
So, how are you going to find this Carl Helfer?
I'm gonna talk to the only man in Gotham who might know something about him.
Well, it seems you have everything covered.
Mr. Wayne.
I'm sorry I didn't come earlier, Mr. Fox.
Please, it's Lucius. You've been an incredible talk of late. With your return to Gotham...
There's been lots to do ever since I came back. I forgot how good the view was from up here.
I recall when your father used to bring you here when you were a kid. You were so interested to learn about your father's company.
Well, as a kid, I always imagined I would grow up to take over the company myself one day.
Yes. The young child of Thomas and Martha Wayne would make a far superior face for Wayne Enterprises than an old man like me.
I would argue that you've done more for Wayne Enterprises than anyone since my grandfather, Lucius.
Yes. Your father never was up for running the company for himself.
He trusted you more than anyone as the CEO of Wayne Enterprises. He said you were the smartest man he ever met.
Some compliment. It's strange to think that it's been over 60 years since the member of the Wayne family was in charge of Wayne Enterprises.
Ah. I see where this is going.
Yes. I'm old, Bruce. I've been running Wayne Enterprises for a long time. And I love my position. But I'm a 68-year-old man. I can't run the company forever. So I think, now that you've returned, it may be time for you to take over the head of Wayne Enterprises.
No.
But, Mr. Wayne, this is your family's company. You're Thomas Wayne's only son.
I would prefer not to be the head of anything. Besides, you yourself are doing a great job. Listen, Lucius, now that I've returned to Gotham, I have plans. I have things that I need to do. I can't do that if I'm going to be attending board meetings all day. I'm not my father. I'm not my grandfather. I'm not the men they were. I'm not even half the men they were. Besides, I wouldn't know anything about running a business like you do, Lucius. I can remain as a public figurehead, however, that's it.
So you aren't here to talk about taking over the company. And I know for a fact that you aren't here to stroke up my old ego. So what are you here for, Mr. Wayne?
Well, I'm here about a scientist who used to work here. Name's Carl Helfern.
I see. Last I heard from him, he was working on a serum he created on a lab on 52nd Street.
Put him up, Batman. We got you at gunpoint, you flying rodent.
Bats aren't rodents. Who are you working for?
We can't tell you. He'll kill us.
Good evening, Batman. Dr. Death sends his regards.
It was a good thing my bulletproof vest stopped those bullets. Just a few flesh wounds. Lost some blood, though.
Well, this is one of the times where having a butler who is trained in combat medicine comes in handy. Oof, that looks uncomfortable for you, Bruce.
Yeah.
Are you in any pain, sir?
No, not really. Thanks for stitching me up, Alfred.
Well, whenever you stitch yourself up, you tend to make a bloody mess. Literally.
It makes me learn from my mistakes.
You ought to be pretty knowledgeable by now then. Make sure not to reopen that wound.
Alfred, you know I can't promise that.
How did you get shot this time?
I went to the lab Lucius told me about, but I was ambushed. The man who shot me told me that Dr. Death sent his regards.
Dr. Death. Pleasant. And you suspect Carl Helfern is this Dr. Death?
I know he is. Could you toss me the shirt?
You can't mean you're going out as Batman again. Not right now.
I'm not. I'm gonna talk with Lucius again. I think he knows more about Carl Helfern than he lets on.
Well, Helfern was a genius. He worked in nanomedicine, and he had a vision for an unstable, uncontrollable, dangerous serum. I had to fire him. But now you tell me, why are you so interested in Carl Helfern, Mr. Wayne? Please, let me go. I can't breathe. Carl? Is that you?
Carl. Now there's a name I haven't heard in quite a while. You remember what you said when you fired me? I do. You are brilliant, Carl. But everything you inject dies. Lately, you are a doctor of death and little else.
Carl, please, you have to listen.
Get off him!
Bruce, run! Get out of here!
And then there's you, Bruce Wayne.
Leave him alone!
You're gonna pay for that.
You're a fool, Mr. Wayne. Your hands are tied together behind your back.
Are they?
What? Now it is time for the fiery deaths of Bruce Wayne and Lucius Fox.
Lucius! Are you hurt?
I'll be fine. We need to get out of here. The fire. sorry I didn't warn you, Bruce. When I heard about Liam Distel, I knew Hellfire would be coming for you and I next.
Less talking, more walking, Lucius.
Leaving so soon? You can't. Especially not you, Mr. Wayne. I've been waiting so long to meet you after all.
Bruce? Bruce? Bruce!
I'm awake. Lucius.
He's quite all right, sir. He's just down the hall.
How long have I been out?
The better part of the day, sir.
I have to go.
Actually, sir, you have to rest. The blows you took to the skull. You have a linear cranial fracture. At least wait until the swelling goes down, and your mind becomes clear, sir. Oh, it seems the police are here to see you.
Hey, Bruce.
I'll leave you two to talk.
Hey, Jim.
How are you doing?
A bit sore, but I'll manage. Did you get Hellfern?
Him, and his friend Jabba too. Mr. Fox told me you had a suspicion about the Hellfern to begin with. How did you know he was the murderer from the docks?
I keep up with my company. After I saw the murder on TV, I just connected the dots from the murder to Carl Hellfern's serum.
You're smarter than you let people know, aren't you, Bruce?
I suppose. Something's troubling you, pal. What is it?
Well, it's Batman. I've been thinking a lot about him recently. I can't talk to the boys about it at the station, but I really think Batman is doing good for Gotham. Even if he's a vigilante. The thing is, he's getting an awful rep, and everyone's expecting me to bring him down. Bruce, I'm not sure you should be...
It's all good, Jim. Look, I can't say I agree, but if you really think Batman is helping Gotham, then make your voice heard.
Anyways, I should be going now. Before Bullock smokes a whole pack in the car. That smell will be there for days. I just can't get him to stop.
Jim? One last thing. How did you know where to find Lucius and I?
Batman tipped me.
Batman tipped me.
How did you...
Please, you're not the only one who's good at sneaking up on people, Master Bruce.
How are you holding up?
Fine. You?
Good. Listen, Lucius, about the company.
Bruce, it's all good. I understand if you don't want to take over Wayne Enterprises from me. I just feel that, well, Wayne Enterprises should be in the hands of a Wayne.
Hello?
Bruce, hey.
What's up, Jim?
Well, it's Hellfern.
What about him?
After we arrested him, he confessed to having mass-produced his serum. He's been taking some of the serum himself, albeit in small doses. So did his henchman, Jabba, which is why he was able to give you such a beating. Hellfern refused to take off his mask when we were interrogating him, so we forced it off him.
And?
Well, you should see the guy for yourself. If you only take one injection of the serum, it won't do much. But if you keep injecting it into your bloodstream like Hellfern,